Time to try out my new Rockler JIG shelf pin drilling template. I bought this Rockler shelf pin JigIt jig to make my life easier when assembling my cabinets. This way I can consistently get all the shelf pin holes set and at the same spacing. In the past I've used a piece of hardwood with holes drilled out every so many inches or whatever, but I decided to give this a try, so we're going to assemble this and see how this works out. Packaging opened up really easy. It just has a few staples on the side compared to a lot of clamshells that are very hard to open up, but the clamshell opened up really easy once you popped a few staples out. These are the components right here. You have the plastic jig itself, you have the guide rail, and then you have a self-centering bit. Everything comes with compartmentalized, so your screws fit in there, your bit goes in to this one, and there's an Allen wrench in here to tighten up the screws. For me, I'm going to choose, since I have face frames, I'm going to choose the 37mm setback. It's 1 7/16 inches. I think that'll work pretty good for putting the shelves on behind putting the pin behind the face frame. That means I use this side to do that right here, and I just need to attach the screws to the plastic panel. The screws and their inserts for the mounting rail come together and it's really easy to unscrew. Each one of these little chambers has a little pop out thing, you just pull down on it, it snaps out, and get them out really easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert all these hopefully in there like that. The screw up, the Allen wrench that comes with it seems to be matching the black screw set, so I've already flipped mine over so that it's like this. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just flip this completely over. I may just lay it up on its side like that, but I'm going to try to flip it over like that. And from here, I'm just going to drop the screws down here inside the template itself. And then get them started like this. So that method worked for all but this one right here, which the center one, because those two following the directions. This looks about how you do it. Doesn't really take a lot to tighten it up or anything to get this in there. So now I have it all assembled and ready to go. So it should be pretty easy to use. Pushing through, you can see it has the bit right there. It's not actually a self-centering. I misspoke. It's actually just it's got a sleeve on it, a little collar, so it fits down inside there like that. And then as you push down, it drills straight. It just kind of catches whichever hole you're planning on using. The template slides a little bit, so I had to make sure that it was equally spaced on both sides here, which was not that big of a deal, but now that it is, my holes should be perfect. What I'm going to do, since this is essentially a mini version side, I've actually rabbited both sides here when I was doing some test work on my scrap material. So I'm just going to treat it like it's a face frameless cabinet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over so it's in there like that, like it would be a face frameless. And then I will cut some. I'm going to put a this is going to be my bottom, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another board in there so it acts as the bottom, and I'll show you how that's done here. So this self-centering jig bit has a quick release on it, so I'm just pop it right on my drill. What I've done is I've put a another piece of scrap in my dado that represents the bottom shelf of my cabinets. And then since this doesn't have a face frame, if it had a face frame, I'd essentially be going like this and butting this up against the face frame, but I don't have that in there yet, so I'm going to be using these like they are face frameless. And you just not put it up against like that, because I'm going to do all my drilling on my sides before I attach the face frame, because then I'm not having to work inside the cabinet. It's much easier just to work, flat like this. I had to put another piece of scrap down because this is high enough that it was actually thicker than this, so it was actually hitting the table. I'll be using the row A here to get them far enough away. If I was using my face frame, I'd be using row B right here, because that would get it roughly the same distance. But like this, I'm going to use this one here because that would be way too close to the frame. So insert it in there until the sleeve hits, and then just start drilling and push down. It's only supposed to go down so far, so it doesn't go through your material. Yeah, there's a stop collar on here that you can adjust. Doesn't go through your backside, stops it before it gets there. End up with 3 good holes. And we'll do the other side. With this bottom piece here, you can just slide that up until it hits the bottom. That way you're being consistent with the other side. So from this point of view, the holes are pretty evenly aligned. They're back from the edge just a little bit. 1 inch 7/16 I believe is what it is at that setting from the edge, which is where I want my shelf pins to go on mine. Yeah, this tool looks like it's going to work a lot better than kind of old school using a piece of wood with holes drilled into it and just drilling a bit in there and having a piece of tape on it. Although you could do it, it's how I did it for years. We used a bit with a piece of tape on it when you drilled down and then insert and drilled through the wood, and when that tape hit the wood, you stopped drilling. Never blew any out the back side, but always worried about that if you pushed too hard and went too far down in it. Plus, a piece of wood can move around and shift and everything. Now, since this was just my practice material, I didn't actually clamp this down. What I'll probably do on my real stuff is clamp this down so it does not have the opportunity to move around. This jig looks like it's really going to do a good trick or getting the work done. It's nice and clean. With this collar on here, you won't run the risk of ever wearing out the edges or the pre-drilled holes in here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using this and making my shelf pins on the sides of my cabinets. Here's a sample of me actually drilling the sides of my cabinets. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.